filming rent. The observations that I want to share with you are just the following timeline. In May, this is when we received the rental inquiry. It's common practice that a homeowner will be asked if they're interested in renting their home. So this was just requested probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. We said yes. We said we would give permission for viewing. This happened in May, and 5 of the producers came to look at the property and said yes, they thought it was perhaps the right home. And we gave permission also in May for filming, which was more than just candid filming. It was 5 hours of filming of the home inside and of the property. In June, the timeline is as follows. We received feedback on these photographs and the network's desire to use our home in this production. And then we reviewed the filming policy very closely. On June 3rd, 4th, and 5th, that was just last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we thought it was very important because of this timeline that we approach all councillors and also our mayor on the same day with all the information that we had. We felt it was very important that everybody heard firsthand about the details, what we believed was being proposed. And we had interest to have councillors Cunliffe and Broughton and Mayor Barry attend a information session the following morning. And Councillor Abbott respectfully declined, but everybody was aware that there was a proposed rental of our home. So that was excellent. We felt that we were doing everything really very transparent. We felt that we were being very efficient. And we felt that this was the right, these were the right steps to have taken. We're really pleased about that. The other thing that we did that was in this week of June 3rd, 4th, and 5th, before we approached our council of Lions Bay, we had a very direct conversation with the executive producer of Blink 49, and he will, I believe, be addressing the council after myself. And we said very, very clearly, we read the filming policy, and we know that it would be advantageous financially for the village to receive filming, the regular filming rates that are obviously competitive with Bowen Island and Squamish and and Northwest Vancouver. But we also felt that there should be something else that was proposed, and it was obviously a very legitimate reference in the filming policy statement number 9 that says that film production companies are able to leave a lasting legacy or donation. So Kim and I, my husband Kim Maley and I, realized that this was what would be very valuable to our village, to our community, if there was something meaningful that was left after the production company finished the series. So we spoke to them and we said, if we're willing to give up $50,000 of our compensation, would you match that? So the legacy would be a meaningful amount, in this example, $100,000. And there was sort of a verbal agreement that that was definitely going to be entertained and that that was going to be channeled towards our community in a very constructive way that the council would look at later and determine what that way was. So anyway, so that is the observations, the facts, the timeline. In my last few minutes, I want to do an interpretation of that because I've introduced this, giving you some observations, and an interpretation is in order. That's our opinion. That is our opinion as the owners of the home. We believe this is a meaningful financial opportunity for Lions Bay, and we know that Lions Bay has many places they could direct the funds that would give us great joy as the owners. We believe our property's size, the acre of land, its private position with no visible neighbors, our long and level driveway that can accommodate the production vehicles, and the gate at the end are all wonderful factors that will create, you know, a sense of peacefulness and in privacy for our Lower Calvin Grove neighbors. We also know that the production company's intent is to put the circus, as they call it, in the gravel pit. And all of those questions can be, you know, or comments can be provided by Blink 49. But that made Kim and I know that we wouldn't be creating an unruly amount of traffic to Lower Calvin Grove. And also we know that our Calvin Grove parking lot is very sacred. We want our mums with toddlers and beach blankets and picnic blankets to have a place to park. And we don't want this to be an exclusive parking lot for people who have a home like ours. We're very civic minded, and we understand that the production company is really wanting to respect that, and even respect the fact that over the filming dates in mind, there is a statutory holiday date, and they've obviously said, no, we'll just be filming Monday to Fridays. So with this in mind, these comments in mind, we really believe this is, in conclusion, a win-win-win. It is a win for Kim Maley and I as homeowners of 185 Tidewater Way. It's a property that is wooden structured with so much glazing. It's called the House of Glass. It takes a great deal of money to maintain it. And so when we can have income from the film industry, this will help us maintain our home to the caliber that it's maintained today. And we're really proud of our home. And we know that it is a West Coast modern masterpiece created by the famous architect, Brian Hemingway. And we want to do him justice by keeping our home in pristine condition. We believe it's a win for the filming community in Canada, in Hollywood North. We're proud of that. We've always supported filming. We want people to have jobs in our province and in our community. And it just seems like it's the right thing to do, especially in these circumstances with tariff wars and other concerns that Canadians and British Columbians are facing today with their paychecks. And we do believe, in summary, that it is an incredible win for the village of Lions Bay and for our citizens. So with that, I thank you again on behalf of Kim Maley and myself for hearing this presentation, and I hope you will vote in favor of this proposed television series rental. Thank you.
Okay, Victoria, thank you very much for that presentation. It's very much appreciated. Is there any questions for Victoria before we move over to Blink 49 production and listen and have their delegation speak? Any councillors?
No, it was well covered. I don't need any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you, Victoria.
Okay, with that, we'll move to Blink 49 and we'll welcome Will Erb and Toby Dormer. So if you'll please take the podium, and you have 10 minutes and we're looking forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Everyone, my name is William Erb. I'm the Global Executive Vice President of Blink 49. I oversee all of production from the US as well as Canada. This is my partner, Toby Dormer.
Hi, Toby Dormer. I'm the Executive Vice President of Unscripted Production in Canada for Blink 49. I'm also a resident of Thunder Lake, and have been living here for 15 years.
Blink 49 is a Canadian-run production company. We work in unscripted and scripted. We have an office in Toronto and one in Vancouver, right off of Seymour Avenue, I believe.
Seymour Street.
Seymour Street. That is our main unscripted office where Toby and the rest of the team work it. Currently, we are filming a Netflix show just up the road in Whistler, and now back in Vancouver, and they've been filming for the last 3 weeks. You know, we're here today to kind of provide more information to those that don't know much about our operation and what we plan on doing, and open it up to any questions about the shooting schedule that was proposed to Victoria and Kim, and just to open it up to any questions that the city might have or the council might have, and just the impact of our filming. Like we said, the shoot dates, the rental date will be July 28th until September 20th. That will consist of the first 4 weeks will be pre-production dates, when we are loading into the house, set dressing the house. Those will be the first 3 weeks. The following week, which would be that last week in August up to the 23rd, will be our technical load-in. That's when we will bring in lights, cameras, technical engineering. And then on the 25th, we will start principal photography up until up until September 14th, which will be our last day of shooting. Now, over those 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, we will have 17 VTR days is what we call it. Everything that is happening at the residence, Victoria's residence, will be reality scenes. So those are 14 individuals who will be living in the house and 14 individuals who will be eliminated episode by episode. So by the end of the episode, this is 10 episodes, we will be down to 4. The filming for those reality days will be from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. all inside the residence. They do have some exterior locations inside the house that we may be filming, but there is no plan for any big late night shoots as of this moment. In regards to, the impact that we would have on the neighborhoods, like we have 5 different locations that we are looking to put the circus or the base camp. That is where all the crew will be parking. We'll be having catering, building, any art department builds, anything like that, or big truck parking. We are, I did ask Karen about a, parking in Kelvin Grove Beach parking lot. We are very adjustable to how many spaces we could use. In the permit application, we asked for 10, but we are manageable and we can lower that amount too if it's too impactful on the neighborhood or any guests going down to the beach. We are very well aware of the wedding that's scheduled on August 30th and plan for that to be the dark day. Though over that 3-day weekend, we will not be filming to make it very easy on everybody. Sorry, let me go back to my notes. Traffic control, because I do know that is one road in. We will always have someone from production kind of leading the, we'll be dropping people off in shuttle vans. I know there is a railroad crossing right there that we will be having someone monitor there, making sure our shuttle vans, when they are dropping off the crew to the location, monitoring that section. Again, there will not be any crew parking on the location. We will be transporting the crew. Anywhere from 45 people at the house would be the maximum. And they will all be coming in shuttle vans, typically 3 to 4 15-pass vans that would come do a drop off in the cul-de-sac and either go to Kelvin Grove parking lot or go back to the main home base. Besides that, I think it's just a great opportunity. I've been talking to Karen and hopefully again to, get resumes from local residents, hire. I mean, we're gonna probably hire about 150 residents during the course of this production over the 8 weeks we are here. And I think it's a great opportunity, and I just want to say thank you for hearing us out, and I'm open to answering any questions or elaborating on anything you guys need.
And then I just start to add a bit of kind of context and color. I think it's important to realize that this is unscripted production, so we're much smaller than scripted. So you won't kind of feel us as much. As Will pointed out, vast majority of people will be far off site and just be shuttling in, so you won't see them. And then as a local resident of the North Shore, it's just such an amazing opportunity to showcase this beautiful place. I mean, I've been here 15 years. I love it. I'm so proud of it. And when this network were looking at someone to film this, they looked at New Zealand, places in the US, and we convinced them to come here. And as soon as they stepped foot in Lions Bay, their minds were blown. They just think it's the most gorgeous place, and I'm very proud for that to be seen on camera. As Will said as well, it's great for the TV production community in British Columbia, especially right now. It's been a tough few years, and to be able to bring jobs to local residents, many of whom live on the North Shore and indeed in Lions Bay, and especially in Squamish, it's a great opportunity. It means a lot to people. And also, as I mentioned, it's an opportunity for young people who want to get into the industry to actually get some experience. PAs, my kids will certainly be volunteering for those jobs. You know, it's a wonderful first step. So I think that's something we can bring to the local community as well. And happy, as well said, to answer any questions.
All right, Will and Toby, thank you very much for that presentation. Very professional, and I'll just open it up for any questions from the floor from the councillors.
Yeah, I was about to ask, can we just go back to that hiring of 150 residents? You're talking about, that's the crew, these are not casuals, right?
No, these are people from British Columbia, mainly local residents.
So
and Lower Mainland.
would there be any opportunity for casual residents from Lions Bay, and what sort of numbers would those be?
Depends on how people want to work. I mean, most of the roles, like Will, probably production systems.
I mean, what's great about unscripted is we're non-union, so anybody that wants to learn can learn. They can pick up cameras, they can.
That was my next question, how are you able to do that, the union, so you're non-union?
We're non-union. The unions do not have jurisdiction over unscripted television.
Yeah, it's very different. Actually, the crews prefer that because it makes us competitive in terms of filming. So most unscripted crews are non-union.
And just from that standpoint, we do follow all the same union rules though, like turnaround times, meal breaks, we don't take that. It's not, just because it's not union doesn't mean we follow the same rules, it's just we don't pay the same fringes on top of it.
There is opportunity for people to take up those positions without joining the union.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and it's a good learning culture. PAs can easily help with the lighting and grip department, even if it's just moving gear across, the room or so, which they can't do on an unscripted show, on a scripted television show. The local communities, we're gonna supply a website with a database. We'll do a posting for anybody looking for work. But we do hire daily workers all the time, and it goes from location assistants to production assistants to office coordinators to drivers, art department PAs, painters, all of the above. Catering will have a big influx, craft service, everything.
Are you able to, without being sort of too biased, are you able to give any sort of preference to local residents as the residents of Lions Bay?
Yeah,
are you able to do that? Or?
It benefits us because they're here.
Yeah, they're here, exactly.
So yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to travel them and transport them. And
Yeah, we'd obviously look at the resumes, but I think what's great about these shows is as Will mentioned, there's entry level positions. The hardest thing, I think, the biggest barrier to getting into the TV industry is that first job. So if you can be a local PA, get some experience, put in your resume, then you get the next job and the next job, and that's when you work up the ladder. So that's how I started. I think it's a great opportunity for local kids.
Can I just ask how that process would look? You said you put a website in the posting, but with that.
We're gonna make a posting with an email address for Blink 49 for anybody that's interested in working the dates that we need to submit their resumes. And then, everybody will have my resume. We'll be in close contact with Karen at the film office as well, and she can supply us information.
Yeah, I think we've already started on the Facebook, the local residents Facebook group is put out there, and see if people are
I'm
interested.
wondering if that's a question for staff, we'll have to probably get clarified by the CAO, but would it be possible to post this on the village update?
If I can just respond to that, because I brought this up with Will today about locals, because there are a lot of young people in the film industry going to school with legitimate credentials, actually.
Yeah,
And what that might look like. And so we didn't work out the technical side, but there was just this immediate support of wanting to support the local. To what degree, we don't know. Of course, there has to be resumes and vetting, which would come from the office, but certainly as an opportunity for them to come into the office and then submit them to the production company or whatever that might look like. Certainly we can help facilitate that.
And it helps Blink 49 as being a local production company too. We have lots of other original shows to ourselves that we will need higher. So it just builds our, resume and Rolodex as well.
So you would be able, so the office would be able to facilitate to help with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it as an onerous task. I
No,
mean, it's
it's
literally
basically a box.
in box.
Yeah.
Now,
There was the report today that the jobless rate for age 16 to 24 right now is the highest it's been in some years.
Yeah.
So this seems like a real opportunity.
Yeah, as a parent of 15 and 18-year-olds who look for summer jobs, I can tell you it's real.
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And having to come and do a Q&A session for people who are
Get
interested.
to
in
that place. that would
Yeah.
be-
That would be actually.
That would be really
I think
fantastic.
also, you know, even for people who maybe just want to get some work experience by being on set and seeing what it's like, we do that a lot as well. It's, you know, it's a great opportunity to kind of test it out and see if you like it.
Lots of opportunity.
Okay, Will and Toby, if there's no more questions, we'd just like to thank you very much for coming forward, presenting. And as mentioned, it's been a very professional presentation by all and looking forward to having you in the village. So,
We've got questions from the gallery. Susan wanted to ask a question. I'm not sure.
Should I just go?
Go ahead.
Is it okay?
I
if we-
just wondered if, can we now?
sure, let's have a question.
It sounds like Victoria is a great location for it. Brunswick is now off the table.
It would, that's a question to ask Blink 49. It seems like.
We came up from Brunswick, just
Oh, I
because
see,
we
yeah.
don't have the
Yeah.
scale that Victoria
I mean,
has, so we were,
From conversations, it did not seem like Brunswick was going to work for us.
right,
You know, there was lots of, it was a hard fit for production as well.
certainly was.
No, we have not taken it off the table because we were hoping for, you know, to figure out what this approval process was and how close we were. I mean, the wish is that we're at Tidewater.
Okay,
So if council didn't approve it, would you be looking at Brunswick?
We would we would, but I think it's off the table from the office standpoint. I think there's a lot of restrictions.
Yes.
And we have been looking at, you know, other options outside of Tidewater as well, and outside Lion Bay,
Yeah.
just because, you know, we're in this timeline, we have to keep all options open. But we
Okay,
always will
backup
have a
plan.
backup to a backup to a backup.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
But I think as soon as we saw Tidewater, it just ticks so many boxes in
Yeah.
terms of it looks gorgeous. When we came in and showed it to the US producers, they loved it. And it worked from a production standpoint. It was like, it was a dream come true, to be honest. Having worked in many houses, it just worked with minimal interruption to local residents.
I will just add that I have all of the letters and the actual application will come forward for it'll be in the council package for tomorrow for Tuesdays.
For the 17th
For
meeting.
approval, yeah.
So thank you very much.
Okay,
you.
thank you very much, Will, Toby. All right, from my end, it's a little difficult to hear at times, so apologies. The mics don't always come in that clear. With that, we'll move to the next item, which is new business. Councilors, any new business to bring forward? No? Okay, we'll move to item number 13, closure of the council meeting. Proposed topics for discussion are personnel, and it be recommended that the council move into closed. Do we have a motion to move into closed?
Moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilor Bowden, seconded by Councilor Cunliffe. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed?
Actually,
Motion carried. Okay, we'll take a moment to clear the room and thank all the public for